Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. Today I wanted to give a bit of an update on the homestead just because things have been shifting around here and we're kind of trying to figure out how to prioritize different things instead of just homestead related activities, of how to essentially streamline what we've got going on. With Tracy being sick this past week, it has been pretty eye-opening that we need to really sort of figure out ways to make it much more efficient for just one person to be running this whole operation, which is a conversation we've been having since Willie went back to school. Granted, he only did the rabbits in the mornings and stuff, and then when he wasn't working, he would do them in the evenings as well. And that's not a hard chore. It doesn't take that long, but when you are one person and you're having to do all of the animals, including also the rabbits, it does get to be a bit intense. So every morning it's been taking me, including doing the dogs and the cats inside, about an hour and a half every morning just to do chores. And that's with not fiddle farting around. That's with just power walking, getting everything done. So we've known for a while that this is not really something that's all that sustainable, which the way that our land is laid out, it is kind of a difficult thing to set up different systems in place, especially since we are waiting for our septic to get replaced. So we can't run water lines out to the barn, which would make it a million times easier. We can't run power lines underground to the barn, which would also make things a lot easier. So a lot of things that we could do that would make things more efficient here, we cannot physically do. But so one of the things that we can do is prioritize making it so we don't have so many extra birds, because that is something that is getting to being a bit ridiculous. Granted, we raise Bantam chickens, so they don't take up that much space. But when every month we keep having chickens keep hatching out more and more and more chicks, it's getting ridiculous. So we've kind of come to the conclusion that before it starts getting cold out again, like in staying cold, so probably once the market season is over, which I think the last one is the first weekend of October, we actually are going to do a really big cull on a lot of our chickens, because we just have, if we were to try to attempt to count how many chicks we have, including all of the adult birds too, when you break down how many chickens are currently on our land, it's probably close to like 75. Like, it is insane. And granted, I would guess that probably 50 of that 75 are not laying eggs, whether they be roosters or they just be young birds. It's way too many. We don't have a market to really sell our eggs, because a lot of people, since they are slightly smaller, it's psychological with them that they don't want to spend $2 on a dozen of free-range eggs that are slightly smaller. They'd much rather spend $5 on a dozen of brown eggs from Walmart than ours, because they're smaller. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of one of those things where you have to explain it to people and then, you know, find the right buyers. And I don't have the energy for that. Marketing is not my strong suit at all. I'm much more into just growing stuff for us to enjoy, and then like our one neighbor, she buys eggs off of us and things like that. But that's kind of where we've been at for a while, is just trying to focus more on doing things for our own enjoyment. So in saying that, had Tracy not been sick, today we were planning on calling a whole bunch of ducks, because we have, I think we have 15 that we've raised for meat that are ready to go to freezer camp. So we were hoping to be able to start working on that today, but since she is not feeling well still, I don't really want to do that big project by myself, because to be quite honest, it's much faster and more efficient to have a second person, at least to help with the dispatching of the animals. So we had planned on doing them ducks today, and then also one of the turkey boys is going to go to freezer camp. So even though they are my beloved pets and friends, the one turkey boy that we named Tomfoolery, the one that we had initially planned on keeping, in the past like 2 months or so, he's actually turned into being quite a big jerk face. So every time that Tracy comes and goes, or now even too, whenever I'm pulling in or when Willie's pulling in, he tries to come at the car to attack the car, which not a big deal. It's just when you go to get out of the car, he then tries to attack the humans. So definitely not cool. Especially because he still likes to follow you around. So like, you can just be chilling somewhere in the yard and you hear him come up and start making like a weird like noise, and then you know that you're about to get spurred. So he's not going to stay, because, well, he's also trying to teach all of the young turkeys to be jerk faces too. So definitely not a good father figure to have around. So it's still going to be, I would guess, at least a month, maybe 2 months before the young turkeys are ready to go to freezer camp. So that's going to be a while still, which is kind of getting frustrating because they all sleep in the barn also. So it's definitely, our barn is not big enough to have this many animals in it. But in 2 weekends from now, that is when the rest of the baby goats will be going to their new home. So we are keeping 2. So that won't be too much more to feed throughout the wintertime, especially since they're going to be small. So we definitely have been making mental notes of who gets to stay, who has to go, so that way we can try to basically tighten things down around here to make it so it's much more efficient, because how it's been now and how it's been recently is not sustainable by any means. Plus we are getting way too many eggs. We are having way too many chicks hatched out. So we definitely need to make some tough choices. So if you are local to us and are looking to get into having some chickens, get a hold of us, because we are not really keen on butchering hens, but we are definitely to the point that we are going to have to, because there's just, we can't eat as a family. We cannot eat like 5 dozen chicken eggs a week on top of getting like, I think right now we're getting about 5 or 6 duck eggs a day. So I mean, that is a lot of eggs for 3 people to eat. So definitely not the way that we want to do this. So anyways, that's it for today. I have a lot of other things I need to get done, and I don't want to overtax myself just in case if Tracy's cooties or something that's trying to inflict themselves on me, because yeah, can't do that. Ain't got time for that. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.